All right. So, what is going on, everybody? Let's talk about this subject because I have reached my limit or breaking point with my own personal life with this subject. AI is never, ever, ever going to be something that I use to create anything that I ever create. Because I am a creator, I am an artist, I am a musician, I am a writer, if I already said that. I draw, I think of things, I do things in my spare time. I am probably more than likely on the spectrum. I'm more than likely an autistic. I just don't look like I'm that, but I'm that. I have to be doing something. I have to be creating something. I have to be writing or making music or doing some kind of artistry. And the thing that really makes me question, and I'm not even going to use names in my videos unless I'm really going for to describe something, but I'm not even going to use names in this video. But there's a lot of people that were famous years ago that they are starting to get into this AI stuff with music and a lot of other things. And this is why I question whether they were even like, what were they doing behind the scenes to make these things that they made? How much of these things did they really produce is what I'm telling myself, because I know what it is to bring up something on a blank slate and have a blank piece of paper and just put everything that's going on in here and within my essence and putting it into something and having to have that all the time. I'm never going to allow something to touch notes for me or pick sounds for me or make a whole drum rhythm for me. That's never going to happen. Never. That's never going to happen. Listen, I'll be honest. The only way that I would ever come close to having something generate something for me, like AI, is if I somehow something happened to me physically or something, which I already have nerve problems. I already have neurological things going on with my body that I've been having going on since 2004 when I had a severe concussion. So this is why I question, and why do I say all these things that I keep saying? We are in these days where it's so strange how the person that is actually the artist, where the source of the creation is coming from, people don't really resonate with that. It's like they resonate with people that are, pasting things, that are copying things, that are sampling other people's music, that are using auto tune, that are using AI, that are using these tools. And I'm like, listen, I'm not saying that there wasn't songs that I didn't like that were used in auto tune. There were songs that were used in auto tune that I really liked and I still like. Back when Plies did Shorty with T-Pain, when he had his mechanical voice. I loved that and I still love it. But the thing is, when we keep using the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over, okay, I realize that it can still, people can still like it. I'm not here to say who likes or doesn't like stuff, because even someone like Pharrell in his early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s music, they literally, him and Chad, I believe the guy's name's Chad that he produces with, they literally used a Korg Triton. They used like a couple drum kits on there and sounds on there to make many songs and I think many albums with just the Korg Triton. And yes, that's possible. And you can do that. I know you can do that because I have done it. I have made many different musical pieces and works from one drum kit and sounds that I used over and over again. And I can still use the sounds over and over and over again if I really resonate with them. That's possible. But the thing is, how can a person, this is what I don't understand about the so-called music community out here. If you're someone that was always into music and you loved rhythm and sound and you loved sound design and creating stuff, how can you possibly have something making something for you? How can you possibly lose sight of not wanting to touch the keys yourself, not wanting to pick the sounds yourself? That's just never going to happen with me I'm not even going to call myself a musician. I am just somebody. I love sound. I love rhythm. I love putting sounds together. And see, we're in this day and age too where everybody says samples. Everybody uses the word samples. And I think this is even something that most people don't understand, that a one-shot sound, a one-shot sample is not the same as a sample of something. When you're talking about sampling stuff, you're talking about sampling a piece of a work for a couple seconds or more. A one-shot sound is goo goo gaga those are one-shot sounds. A sample is and then you have and this is what most people do. They go to things where they press a button and it's a whole thing already sampled out. That is basically AI generated, or people that already made the music for people to go and just touch a button and then say, I created this. See, this is, to someone like me, this waters down the art. This waters down the craft. This takes away from people that really put in the essence of designing something, creating something, taking their humanity, taking their spectrum autism, taking their depression, taking their life, taking their experiences, taking their hardships, their ups, their downs, their good and their bads and everything, and putting it into something. This takes away from that because, see, people don't see it like that though. We're in these days where people are so used to just getting more content that they really don't care where it's coming from. They don't really care how it's made. They don't really care about the process or how did you come up with that. And this is what is watering everything down, folks. There's nobody that wants to learn how to go about getting on a blank slate anymore and putting themselves into it, putting their humanity into it. putting everything that they are into their own craft. That's the problem today. And this is why everything is getting, it's so saturated, it's watered down. There's so many people doing it because everybody wants this clout thing. And look, I understand we all want our work to be seen when we're doing something like this. But there's a difference when you're a person that is taking something and it's so easy to do, and then you're saying, "This is mine. I did this." And then these people, it's so crazy. They get more views, they get more subscribers, they get more likes, they get more people sharing their stuff. It makes no sense to me. It just makes no sense to me at all. And the thing is, and I know a lot of people, but I don't even care anymore because this is how real I am. Because I'm all about real, I'm all about authentic, I'm all about unique, I'm all about the arts. The arts, the arts, the arts. I am all about putting your humanity into something. And the thing is, what is going on is there's so much mediocre stuff going on out here. It's been so watered down that people don't care anymore as long as they're getting likes or as long as they're getting subscriptions, as long as they're making money, as long as something is happening with what they're doing. They don't care. They don't care. It's just like someone in a business where they're selling chicken. They don't care how many chickens have to die in order for them to sell more chicken to get rich. They do not care about the sentient creature that's being slaughtered. They just don't. I mean, that's an example that I can use, and this is kind of how the world is. It's kind of ignorant when you really think about it. It's so just it's kind of boastful. It's a form of pride. It's a form of this fakery to me. It's fake. It's like fakery. I can't explain it. Like, I know when I hear someone singing or making something, if it's coming from their very essence, coming from their soul, so to speak, coming from something deep within themselves. And then I know when I just hear noise, just white noise, or just people talking to talk to say, look at me, look at this thing that I'm doing because I'm like this person and that person, and they're really not like that. They're trying to look like something. And this is what I'm saying. If it's not something authentic, if it's not something that comes from the heart and the soul, whatever you want to call it, the essence, I'm just somebody that I personally wouldn't do it. I personally wouldn't do it. So that's why when I see other people doing this, I say to myself, there's so many people that just follows these kinds of things. Just follow. And this is another paradox. Of course, we're in a day and age where you need people to follow. You need to have people press the follow button. But see, none of that matters to me. I don't care about all this following shit. It's like you either resonate with something or you don't resonate with something. You're either faking about it or you're not faking about it. That's all it comes down to. And getting back to what I was talking about sampling stuff, I do not see, some people call the art of sampling an art. They call it an art form. I don't know whether to call it an art form or to call it copyright infringement or stealing another person's soul work or taking someone that took the time to make something sound good and put time into it, put their life into it, because all we have is time. So when someone takes the time of another person and then dwindles it down into a very short period of easiness, it waters it down because there is really nothing going into it. And this is the problem today. We got so many things that, if I'm ever going to get something, I want to know that the person put time into it. I want to know that they put everything of their essence into it. And that's what makes it more valuable to me. If it was just way too easy, if it was just, oh, I pressed a button, like there's keyboards nowadays. I even had a keyboard that I got rid of a while ago, which was really stupid of me to do. But you could press one key and it would just play a whole drum rhythm. It would play this whole symphony for you. And I'm like, I'll never use something like that. I can't use something like that because somebody else already created it. See, there's a difference. There's a difference between using music that someone made to use in a video, like in background music in your YouTube video or something. But there's a difference between using something and then using something and then calling it your own thing. There's a huge difference, and there's an ownership problem. See, we're in the days of onyship is being completely destroyed. And this is something that I'm never going to let go of my ownership of what I have created, that really, I don't know where all of it comes from. I have no idea, because I say, holy shit, if it's me that made these things, it's pretty wild and crazy, but I don't know. I just think I give credit to everything going on. I give credit to the cells in my body. I give credit to the molecules and just the energy that is all around me, and whatever's doing whatever it's doing. Like, that's what the I am means to me. And I am everything and I am nothing. I'm nothing, but I'm everything. And anyway, I'm not going to get into how I think of things, but if you are someone that is scared of a blank canvas, or you are scared to create something from scratch, I don't think that person should even be calling themselves an artist or anything, a musician, a writer, a creator. I don't even think that they should get into it, if you want me to be honest, because it's going to be something that people are copying. It's going to be something that people are using and then calling it their own, just for some kind of social media clout or something. And like I said, there's a difference between using someone's music like in your background. I don't have a problem with that when people use a creator's music to showcase in the background of their videos or something, or they need it to, like, elevator music or something. But when you're using it and it's not, you had no part in the creation of it, and then you press a button and then put your name to it, produced by, like, all these guys, all these people today are calling themselves producers. And the question that I have is, were these people ever even producers? Were they ever even producers from way back? You see, they gave themselves a label that I personally know that they're not. You can't call yourself a producer unless you are touching the keys and you are picking the sounds and you are creating something from scratch. You are putting the sounds in the sequence yourself. You are changing the filters and the envelopes and the resonance and the attack, decay, sustain, release, the reverbs, the delays, the LFOs, your recording. That is what makes you a producer, when you're recording it yourself, not going and taking a snippet of a rhythm and then putting it into something. That's kind of like AI generated music, if you really think about it. And these are the days that we're coming into. And I know for me, I'm never going to use somebody else's rhythm or melody or patterns or whatever. I'm always going to create my own. So, in saying that, what will I attract? I will attract those who resonate with what I'm saying. And all the other people that don't do this, I don't even care what they do anymore. If they want to, if they can make a living off of what they're doing and they can make some income and they can do all this stuff without getting copyright stuff, that I don't even care anymore. Good for them. But at the same time, I'm just somebody that I can't personally stand for it. I just can't. And a lot of this is based on money. Like a lot of these producers that used to call themselves this, they're getting into these things because of money. They're not getting into it because they really love it or they're really into it. They're play acting for you. They're play acting because they're making money and they got to act like they're excited about it. They got to act like it's the best thing in the world so they can sell you the product. And the thing is, the craziest thing is other people that are the same way, that are faking it, that are not really genuine about their craft, that are just trying to look at me on social media. Look what I'm doing, man. This thing's so cool, when they really know they're not really into it. It's just they're generating money off of it. They're getting some kind of big payday and they're marketing these things to you. It's kind of like fools putting fools in power is the quote I can think of for myself, that I wrote myself. Fools putting other fools in power. Ignorant people leading other ignorant people. And I know everybody sees things differently, but when you really think about it, there are only a few actual producers in this world. A very few producers that are actually making music anymore, that are actually putting themselves into a craft, that are actually taking hours and days to put drum kits together and sounds together and doing what they really do. And don't ever lose sight of that. Do not ever lose sight of that, because how can you? I don't know. How can you lose sight of that? You can't lose sight of that. If you're someone that always loved sound, you always loved these synthesizer workstations, these keyboards, and you always loved designing sound and picking sounds and playing notes and going through it and being excited, how you can't see it any other way. You can't just do what a lot of these popular men and women are doing just to make more money off of it. This is what disgusts me about it. It's a thing where they just want to get rich and act like they're excited about something. And I can see right through it. I can see right in it, dude. It's not coming from the soul. It's not coming from the essence. It's not coming from the source. It's not coming from the Renaissance spirit of the person. It's not coming from the temple and the kingdom and the sanctuary and the dwelling. And that's why, to me, it's not exotic, because it's really not real. It's a mirage. It's something to make it look like it's so sweet when it's not. It's made to look like it's something that has, these good flavors to it, but actually it's not what it seems to be, what they're showcasing what it is. And then Some people might say, oh, well, that's just your opinion. No, this isn't my opinion. This is an actual reality of what goes on in the world. And why do you think everybody's saying music is trash today? Because we've lost sight. We've lost sight of putting our true selves into a true craft. And we're losing sight of it more and more and more because of money and profit and social media clout. And it's a paradox. I know it's a paradox. I don't mean to be a hypocrite, but I'm telling the truth of how it is. So if you get something from this, please help support my channel. Thanks for listening.